to Weekly World News on Spring Nectar TV, brought to you by Vibha Ramesh, Los Angeles, United States. First, the top headlines. Widespread outrage over US Supreme Court's draft on abortion ban. India-Germany partnership on mobility and migration. Weddings and funerals suspended in Beijing as city battles COVID. New Zealand opened borders to international travelers after 2 years. Council elections in UK, a glimpse. Moving on to news in detail. The US Supreme Court has drafted a ruling which strikes the Roe v. Wade ruling of 1973 that protects a woman's right to abortion. News has it that the draft inadvertently leaked from the court into the hands of the public. The constitutional right that women benefited from for the past several years stands challenged in the Supreme Court today. This provisional draft has prompted widespread outcry as it takes away a woman's fundamental right to keep or abort her pregnancy. The draft, if passed, would change the health of women in America. Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts confirmed the leak and has subsequently instructed an investigation. The majority opinion drafted by Justice Samuel Alito stated that Roe was egregiously wrong from the start. Its reasoning was exceptionally weak and the decision has had damaging consequences. And far from bringing about a national settlement of the abortion issue, Roe and Casey have inflamed debate and deepened division. We hold that Roe and Casey must be overruled. It is time to heed the Constitution and return the issue of abortion to the people's elected representatives. Following the leak, angered women gathered in front of the Supreme Court on Monday night and Tuesday, protesting against the provision. Said one demonstrator, "Abortion is health care. This terrifies me. I could not sleep, so I figured I should be here where it could possibly make a difference or at least make someone aware. It's an important issue for me because of women's reproductive rights, but this opens a floodgate for everyone, like the right to privacy, to due process, the right that we're innocent until proven guilty. All of that can go away if this goes away." And on the Capitol attack, the following week or two will pave the way for the investigating committee to decide whether to compel Republican lawmakers to testify about Trump by issuing subpoenas to them. According to U.S. Representative Adam Kinzinger, who, along with 9 other House Republicans who voted to impeach Trump, "I think everybody needs to come and talk to us. We've requested information from various members. In terms of whether we move forward with a subpoena, it's going to be both a strategic, tactical decision and the question of whether or not we can do that and get the information on time. Decisions we make every day. I think ultimately, whatever we can do to get that information. I think if that takes a subpoena, it takes a subpoena." Moving on, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi left on a 3-day visit to Europe with an intense agenda scheduled across 3 countries: Berlin, Denmark, and Paris. A glimpse into his tour as stated by Foreign Secretary Vinay. PM's 3 days and 3-nation tour have an intense schedule with a substantial and comprehensive agenda, including wide-ranging interactions with the political leadership with countries, the Indian diaspora, and the top industrialists and CEOs. To that end, Modi's meeting with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz would soon culminate in a bilateral agreement that enables a two-way movement of professionals, students, and researchers. Subsequently, the joint statement after the 6th intergovernmental consultations read, "They agreed to take action to swiftly sign the agreement and bring it into force." They highlighted the importance of this agreement in facilitating two-way mobility of students, professionals, and researchers, as well as addressing the challenges of illegal migration. Further, with an intention to strengthen their financial and technical cooperation with India, Germany confirmed an additional 10 billion euros as aid to help India achieve its 2030 climate action targets. Meanwhile, Serum Institute of India announced that their COVID vaccine Covovax will soon be available in government as well as private hospitals. The vaccine is suited for children aged 12 to 17 years and will be priced at Rs 225. The news was confirmed by the CEO of Serum Institute of India as he tweeted, "Covovax is now available for children in India. This is the only vaccine manufactured in India that is also sold in Europe and has an efficacy of over 90%, he said. Over to China, the continuous increase in COVID infections in Beijing has prompted the government to instruct the closure of schools as well as suspend funerals and weddings. This move has brought the city to a standstill but has not pushed it into lockdown like Shanghai. On the contrary, the move was intended to avert a complete lockdown. To that end, all schools were instructed to end classes starting last Friday without a tentative resumption date. In addition, authorities ordered mass testing of over 20 million people this week. Beijing recorded 50 new cases on Thursday, and the city is desperate to avoid a lockdown. Prices of basic food supplies and vegetables went up as people continued to stock up. As said by a resident, people are in an area without the epidemic and they come back to the vegetable market today. The price of eggs has gone up and the price of meat has gone up, and the potatoes are still there, but their value has doubled. I didn't panic, but this is urging me to panic. Moving on. 2 years after New Zealand closed its borders to travelers in view of the pandemic, that light at the end of the tunnel was witnessed on Monday as the nation opened its borders. As part of the phased reopening strategy, vaccinated people from around 60 visa waiver countries were permitted entry into New Zealand. Airports were not filled with just travelers, but music, tears, hugs, and moments to behold as travelers connected with their families and friends after what seemed like eternity. Commenting on the first step towards returning to normalcy, Tourism Minister Stuart Nash said, "People haven't seen each other for a long, long time, family and friends. We have also, of course, got international business people who are able to reconnect, and they are coming back. Today marks a milestone for visitors from our key Northern Hemisphere markets in the USA, UK, Germany, South Korea, Japan, Singapore, Malaysia, Canada, and others who can now jump on a plane to come here." The reopening of borders is expected to attract over 30,000 people into the country each week. And in Ukraine, several civilians were trapped in Mariupol's Azovstal steelworks for weeks as rescue operations were stalled. The first such group of civilians that were supposed to reach the city on Monday is still trapped. News has it that hundreds are trapped in tunnels and underground bunkers even as Russian forces resumed shelling on Monday night. In the words of Ukraine's Deputy Prime Minister, the situation has become a sign of real humanitarian catastrophe. Food, medicine, and other essential supplies were running out. The evacuations were supposed to start on the morning of Monday under a UN Red Cross plan. However, the buses had not reached the agreed destination and there is little clarity on the reason for the hold-up. Meanwhile, in the United Kingdom, over 5,000 seats were contested in the council elections on Thursday, and Tory candidates were obviously staying away from any connections to Prime Minister Boris Johnson as they circulated election leaflets depicting the same. Local Conservatives were seen urging voters in Hartlepool to not penalise them for the wrongdoings at 10 Downing. The Met Police is expected to announce the inquiry into the mistakes at 10 Downing during peak lockdown, including fines imposed, if any. Commenting on the situation, Deputy Labour leader Angela Rayner remarked that it speaks volumes that Boris Johnson's own Conservative candidates are ashamed to be associated with him and trying to pull the wool over voters' eyes. Meanwhile, in Iraq, a severe dust storm painted the skies in an orange hue last Sunday. The thick layer of dust that was hovering low over the country triggered poor visibility, respiratory issues in many, and suspended flight operations. News has it that visibility stood at less than 500 meters, and hospitals were known to have admitted around 70 people at least with respiratory issues. In the words of a spokesperson for the Civil Aviation Authority, flights have been interrupted at the airports of Baghdad and Najaf due to the dust storm. That brings us to this week's Did You Know? We have all heard of pyramids, and the mention of pyramids elicits that one place, Egypt, right? But who knew that one of the world's largest pyramids is in Memphis, Tennessee? Located in downtown Memphis, the pyramid hosts the Bass Pro Shops. The shops located in the Memphis Pyramid range from a wilderness-themed hotel to an entertainment patio to an underwater-themed bowling, and that's just the tip of the pyramid. Standing at 321 feet tall, with a sprawling 535,000 square foot interior, this pyramid is sure to give you an eclectic experience. So if you're unable to go to Giza, you know where you can witness a breathtaking view of the pyramid. With that, we bring you to the end of this week's news bulletin. I'll see you again next Friday with more world news on Spring Nectar TV. Stay safe.